I think The Odyssey is Christopher Nolan's magnum opus.
Yo, what's good, guys? It is Joel from the future editing this video. How interesting. Couple things I just wanted to say. One, I don't know why it looks so dead at the start of this video. The energy does pick up, I promise. Also, the audio is a little bit shoddy. I managed to not record on my microphone and only my iPhone audio, so that's why we sound like shit. And also, I wanted to say that throughout the video, I talk about Agamemnon, and I call him Agamemnon. Yep. Anyone would think I hadn't fucking seen the movie. I realized it after editing. I'm sorry. Love you guys. Anyway.
I thought that the second I left the cinema the other day, and I'm sure I'm going to feel like that when I leave the cinema again tomorrow after seeing it for the second time. Now, I was going to hold off making this video about it until I'd seen it twice in case there was some more ideas I wanted to throw in. But hey, we're just going to record this now and we're going to edit in some extra little comments if I think of anything different after I've watched it for a second time. But today I wanted to talk mainly about some of the key ideas from this movie and why it's so sort of generational with its messaging. But obviously first we'll go through one or two of the sort of nitty gritty film review stuff that I have to do because it's kind of what I do sometimes. Let's start off by talking about the performances. So, Matt Damon, Zendaya, Tom Holland, Anne Hathaway, Robert Pattinson, all of these people are doing exactly what you expect them to do on a film, especially a film of this scale. The Odyssey is a massive movie that contains a massive story that, if done wrong, can become slightly too complex with the way it's told the past and the future. But when you get actors of this caliber at their sort of best, it makes a film like this so much easier to make, I imagine. Now, of course, I have my opinions on which characters were sort of more important and less important, and I don't actually think that it's as obvious as other people may make it seem. But let me just start all of this off by saying that every performance in this movie was good. No one let it down at all. The movie was also shot incredibly well, and it was, whether it was during the shooting or during the sort of post-production, they were able to achieve this real mastery when it comes to the colouring of the movie. Sometimes I find Nolan movies a little bit grey, things like Memento. I mean, Memento is literally half black and white, so I'll let that off. Things like Inception I found a little bit grey. Interstellar at times was a little bit grey. This was not grey once. I'm sure it has a lot to do with the scenery, the story, this sort of thing, the time period. Considering grey is a lot more of a sort of artificial colour, I feel, whereas this is full of obviously fully natural things for the most part. There's a fucking plane flying outside the window right now. I actually can't believe this.
I've been trying to record this for about an hour, and now a plane flies over. Okay. I see what kind of day this is going to be. No, that's fine.
Scratch that. It's a helicopter. Anyway, now we've got all of that nitty-gritty review stuff out of the way, let's talk about what I really wanted to come here and talk about. There are three main characters or sets of characters that I think are really, really important to learn from, for you personally. The first is going to be the most important character in the whole film, and that is Calypso, the woman on the beach. Throughout the Odyssey, Matt Damon's Odysseus goes through, well, let's be honest, hell. At one moment, even going to hell. He comes up against countless types of mythological beings that threaten the lives of him and his men, even at times killing his men, Odysseus narrowly escaping on several occasions, this seeming for most of the film to be the big danger. Now, the important thing about this movie is it's not, and that's what the sort of semi-hidden twist reveal is. It's not. The mythological character that does the most damage to Odysseus, by far, is Calypso. You take the Cyclops, you take the giant night creatures, they cut him, they bruise him, they traumatize him. These things heal over time. What Calypso takes from Odysseus is time. And she exchanges time for comfort. This is something that is happening to you in front of your face every single day. This trade, comfort and time. Our grand, amazing capitalist society has created an environment where you must choose. The society we live in today has forced us into this false dichotomy of, well, if I am to be happy, it must be artificially, therefore I must waste my time. We're convinced every day by product placements, food, drink, TV shows, pornography, video games, that happiness lies in the mundane, repetitive, easy dopamine. That when you look back in 20 years, you will realize was a total waste of fucking time. It is the lotus flower from the Odyssey. That's what the lotus flower is. And I think the way that Christopher Nolan chose to tell this story shows his incredible insight into people, and especially young people, as I really think that is the messaging. You obviously have to put this up to Christopher Nolan, but also Homer, the author of, you're not going to believe this, Homer's Odyssey, 3,000 years ago, writing about something so prevalent today. And I just don't see it spoken of enough, especially with reference to this movie. Your journey to an ultimate sense of peace and happiness is going to be long, is going to be hard, and you're going to have to fight along the way, not only sort of monsters and demons, which I suppose in a modern context is more so the people that doubt you, the people that say you're not good enough, or the physical pain of things like going to the gym. But the main threat is going to be comfort. It's going to be your warm bed on a Monday morning when you know you should get up and go for a run. Or it's going to be the pack of 4 triple chocolate cookies from the co-op that stop you from dieting like you should. The messaging from the whole Calypso section of this movie is fucking generational, and you need to get on board with it. The second really important piece of messaging, I think, comes from the character of Agamemnon, which I have to say, I do think Agamemnon is the coolest part of this movie, maybe any movie ever. I would actually go as far as to say that Agamemnon's character design has dethroned Darth Vader for the coolest character design of all time. This guy radiates aura to a level I don't think I have ever fucking seen before. Look at this shit. You have to go and see this movie if you haven't seen it already. If you haven't seen the movie already as well, I don't know why you're here right now. I would go and see the movie before. From Agamemnon specifically, you can learn that the journey is often greater than the result. Agamemnon journeys and sits on the beach of Troy for 10 years before finding his ultimate glory in the Trojan War, taking Troy, killing a bunch of people. Then he goes home to his wife, who kills him. This is direct messaging towards one thing, in my opinion, and that is that you must enjoy the journey, because you have no idea what the fruits of your labor will look like once the journey is over. Before the Trojan War, Agamemnon sacrificed his only daughter for favorable tides and favorable winds to the gods to make his passage all the easier. And yes, he was able to get there flawlessly, turn around, come back flawlessly. But what he didn't realize, that I think they're trying to tell the audience, is that the fruit of your labor may be rotten even after appearing sweet from a distance. Agamemnon realizes after death in Hades that his biggest mistake was coming back and thinking that his glory would replace the trauma for the people around him that he had created, specifically with his wife. It's this idea of glory not necessarily being shared between parties, no matter how aligned these parties seem. You would imagine his wife was like, fuck yeah, we took Troy. But no, she of course is still thinking of her daughter who was sacrificed by the cruel Agamemnon, who, upon sacrificing her, got exactly what he wanted, but then ultimately failed because he didn't realize what getting exactly what he wanted would ultimately lead to. What is the messaging here? The messaging here is enjoy the journey as you don't know what is coming, the result. That's obviously one section of it, but the other bit being, of course, as I mentioned, the fruit of your labor may be rotten even after appearing sweet from a distance. You must be aware of the things you're doing and how these things snowball into a positive or a negative response even much later down the line. That person you're horrible to when you're in school may come back and shoot you 40 years later. That's a very, very simple, very silly version of what's being said here, but you get what I'm saying. The third and final really, really important piece of messaging that I haven't heard many people speak about with reference to the Odyssey is the lessons you can learn from Odysseus's men. From his men, you can learn that the will of gods ultimately isn't always realistic, and we'll talk about what that means in just a second. Odysseus's men, even though being slightly sort of like immoral in ways, after sort of like pillaging, killing, raping, obviously I say slightly immoral, that is extremely immoral, but this is a different world. His men are put in positions by these various gods that are totally unrealistic. Take their actions on the island with the sun god's cattle. These guys have been like sailing around for 5 years trying to get home after one of the most brutal wars in history to this point. They are starving to death on a beach, having to coexist with some of the most juicy, gorgeous looking cattle that they want to kill and eat. And they are told, if you eat those, you will die. Very similar to the sort of Adam and Eve, if you eat that really fucking nice piece of fruit, you are cooked. They are put in this ultimately totally unrealistic position by the gods. Now, the messaging from this can be one of two things. It depends on the way you look at this scene. One, do you think the gods knew that it was an impossible task these men were being given? If so, hella cruel. Fair enough. But if this was a genuine task the gods were sort of laying on these men, it was totally unrealistic. And it shows that even higher powers at times can be totally out of touch with your potential. They may not know what you are capable with or not capable with. So it's important to recognize that, and recognize that in this scenario, the gods are looking at these men from a far higher, more superior position, maybe misinterpreting the potential of these men. In the same way that people probably misinterpret either way the potential of you. I also think the way the story is framed with reference to Odysseus's men is a real comment on modern religion, and that is that you must believe deeply enough in your God that it commands your actions, and if not, you are ultimately doomed. How often do you see like modern Muslims in a pub drinking beer? Like, what the fuck are we doing? Or modern Christians being some of the most fucking judging people on earth. What are we doing here? It's a total rejection of the core message. I've just kicked that camera. It is a rejection of the core messaging of said religions, and ultimately within these people's belief systems, they would have to admit that they are actually going to hell. In the same way as the only way for Odysseus's men to survive would be to not eat the cattle, take the hardship, and risk dying, because their faith would be deep enough that they are able to withstand physical pain. That, I think, is what is being asked of these men. And this is how these men are being asked to redeem themselves. But ultimately, they reflect this extremely modern way of treating religion. And that is, well, the gods may say this, but I know better. Or they didn't mean this. Or this is my interpretation. No, you know exactly what you're doing, and you're doing it anyway. That's the problem with modern religion. You think you can interpret it any way you like, but it's not how it works. Obviously, additionally, I would say you should learn ultimately from Odysseus, that being the lessons of being extremely virtuous, being fair, not leaving the little guy behind, avenging the people you love, always journeying home if you can, always looking after those closest to you. But I think this is sort of messaging that is very, very clear in the movie, and I think a lot of people are talking about it. That's not to say that they're at all making surface level points, or I'm at all more interesting. I'm just, there are some things here that I haven't heard being thrown around all that much that I thought were super interesting, that I had to just get out. And hey, we may even make a part 2 of this. If it does well and I see it again and I think of other cool stuff, we'll like make a part 2. But I've been kind of like writing notes here, and I just fancied sort of getting them out to you guys. I know the content recently has been kind of like stop-start, and the styles have been kind of different. I've been kind of going through some mental challenges, not related to actions of the outside world, not related to like events happening to me, more so like kind of internal, probably coming of age struggles that make consistency extremely difficult. Sometimes I feel like I'm standing sort of in the mouth of a big dark cave. I literally don't know what's going to come out next. The next one may not be a film video, may not be an Odyssey video, it may be a no face cam video. I want to just thank everyone who's sort of sticking with the content and everything. We will find a style. This is just kind of throwing stuff out there and trying to be consistent with this channel, because this is what I want to do in my life. I love everyone watching this. I really appreciate anyone who subscribed and anyone who stayed subscribed despite the fact that the things have been a bit up and down recently. They're going to continue to probably be a bit up and down, but I promise you, I am here. I'm thinking about it. I'm not being lazy. All I think about is the content. It's my life. I love it. It allows me to make videos like this, which are just my absolute passion. I didn't expect to go on this little rant at the end here. We'll kind of wrap the video up here, but I just want to say thank you so much to everyone. I'm going to give a specific shout out to 10 Rexy, who is one of my sort of long-time subscribers. I've been doing this for a year. He's sort of been subscribed for around a year. He comments on all my videos. So to you, 10 Rexy, I want to do a massive shout out. Thank you so much. And to the people who've subscribed recently, even when things have been super up and down for me, you guys are really getting me through. I'm absolutely fine. I will be absolutely fine. This is a genetic thing. I'll just throw my pen. Wow. This is kind of a genetic thing. I will come out the other side better, stronger. And until then, content may have some gaps, maybe a bit inconsistent, but it is my life. I care about it so much. I'm not being lazy. I love you guys.